Terry Shatters here. I've called in.
Hey, Terry.
Hello, everyone.
How are you, Chris?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
Good. Is Burton with you, Susan, in the conference room, or?
Burton's here. He'll be here in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Eric. Did you get the stuff I sent you?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, I mean, that'll definitely be useful,
Yeah, we can work through it when the time comes.
right? Yeah, if you look at the previous master parks trail plan, there's a lot of future proposed trails that go along Encore utility easements, but we've never done it in Sunnyvale, so we've got to figure out how that works.
Yeah, I can help you through it. It won't be too hard. We worked with the City of Mesquite on their Heritage Trail. A lot of their trail goes through our easements, so.
Right. Yeah, the ones in Sunnyvale, other than the rail spur, I don't know how that works with the property owners. I mean, obviously, if it's private property, I would think you wouldn't, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm here to help when the time comes. We'll figure it out.
Okay, thank you. Ready, Burton?
President Weiss, you there?
Yep.
Okay, I think we're ready to go.
Nope. We'll call the 4B Economic Development Meeting for Monday, the 29th of June, 2020 to order at 5:03 p.m. This meeting is specific to one topic, so I'll hand it over to Burton in just a minute. But first off, we'll open it for public forum. Now we'll hand that over to the staff to manage that based on her previous experience.
No hands are raised, President Weiss.
Okay, so we'll close the public forum, move on to discussion item number 1. Discuss, consider, and act upon resolution 20-39, resolution of the 4B Economic Development Corporation to amend resolution 20-05, authorizing the president of the Sunnyvale 4B Economic Development Corporation and town manager to amend and execute a real estate contract, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, there's been a need to do some modifications, so I will turn that over to Burton and Susan to walk through the specifics.
President Weiss, 4B board members, after visiting with our attorney, he suggested that we amend the sales contract with the Luminant property. There's several easements that are still being resolved, and we're getting closer to having an updated survey. We've received a portion of it, but not the entire survey. So with that said, approximately 25% of the property is an Encore easement. There's potentially a blanket easement over the property, and we've asked that Luminant work with Encore to release that before we close on the property. One of the things that was of concern is that each portion of the closing triggers, like the title commitment, the inspection period, the closing date, all of those trigger specific dates with timelines. And we just felt like with some of the timelines had lapsed, and it was best if we amend the contract so that we could have an adequate opportunity to go through, look at any of the changes, and know up front what we were getting into, any of the issues that might remain. So, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And this has already been discussed with Luminant, if I recall correctly, and they are in agreement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I've got a question. This is Sarah. So I noticed that the revised language was just in section 2A for the amendment comments, obviously. Sub-bullet 3I references the change from 15 to 30 days after the delivery of the new survey. But I noticed in section F6, where it defines the new survey, it still is allowing, or it's still restricting us to voice our objections at the earlier of 10 days after the receipt of the new survey or 5 days prior to the expiration of the inspection period. And so the two of those items equals the 15 days. And so I'm wondering if we should adjust that section as well to correspond to the 30 days.
Seems like they should match.
I'm not sure what the right answer is. I just noticed that.
That's on page 13 of the packet you sent out.
What was the section again, Member Bradford?
Section F6, it's the definition of the new survey. It's on page 5 of the actual contract, but page 13 of the, I don't know, there's so many page numbers on here, I'm not sure. The bottom of the page says page 5 of 30 something, and then on the left footer it says page 10 of 34, and on the right footer it says page 13 of 37.
That's 13 of the PDF.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're specifically talking about the buyer has until earlier of 10 days after receipt of new survey or 5 days prior to the expiration of the inspection period? That's what, isn't that what you were talking about?
Right. Yeah, and so I didn't know if that needs to, and so to me, I'm not a lawyer and I'm certainly not a real estate person, but it seemed like those two correspond to the original 15-day allowance. Because essentially the amendment is amending the definition of the inspection period. So I just wanted to make sure that if we are amending the inspection period to be 30 days, that the language in the new survey section doesn't shortchange us and only give us 10 days to object.
Okay.
Again, I may be reading that wrong, or K-Paul may have, he's more familiar with that kind of thing than me, so sorry to put you on the spot.
Member Bradford, this is Susan. We did run this through the attorney. We did not make the edits to the contract. The attorney did, and this is what he felt was adequate. And really, for us, the point was just that we didn't want to get back you know, the amendment or the survey and then have only the 15 days. We wanted to make sure that once we got the new survey, we had adequate time to review it, and if you all wanted to make any changes, that you could. And so you see the two references. It's either 30 days after the survey is received or 30 days after the release of the easement of the property, because that's, you know, really what we want to make sure gets achieved. They offered to do it. We felt like we should allow them to do this since they've done it many times before. And then they'll present to us how much of that blanket easement Encore is willing to give up, so that just in the end, we know what we're actually getting that's without an easement and what is with an easement.
Yeah, I do understand that and understand the purpose of the amendment. My concern is that in the new survey language, it still says that we only have until 10 days after the receipt of the new survey to submit any objections.
But we can cancel the agreement. We aren't forced to act on the agreement until the 30 days after the survey or the release of the easement. So we don't have to close until that point.
Okay, well, I will leave that up to you and the attorneys. I just thought I would point out that inconsistency that I was reading.
And we'll bring it up to him. You know, my concern is just that I don't want to agree to change this when he didn't recommend that change, and I don't believe he's on the call tonight. But what, if you all would like, for your motion to be that you approve us signing the amendment to the contract with this change, and if needed, an amendment to that other section. That way it kind of leaves us open if he does agree and feel like it's also necessary. You know, if it was just something he missed, or if he just doesn't feel it's necessary either way, but we could run that by him as well.
That's fine with me. It's just happy to hear from anybody else. If nobody else has any concerns, then we can just leave it as is.
Yeah, and I was rereading it because it references the paragraph before, which then goes all the way back to paragraph A5, which still says 15 days. But I'm just trying to figure out if the amendment supersedes all of these follow-on ones, because so many paragraphs roll to a different paragraph.
Right.
President Weiss?
Yep.
There is a section in the it's on page 4 of the amendment. It talks about in the event of a conflict between the terms of the contract and the terms of this amendment, the terms of this amendment shall control.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
I think we're probably good to go.
Okay.
All right.
So we know the intent's correct, and if that takes care of it, I'm fine with that. But I liked Susan's thing as well, to have the attorney review it one last time, and if it needed changes, we've already approved it. If it doesn't need changes, it can go through as is. Is that what I understood correctly, Susan?
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's, you know, I think Member Bradford's point is a good one. I think what Burton pointed out, I think, is probably the correct answer, but I think it's worthwhile to run it by him since he's not on the call. And if you were to phrase the motion in that way, I think it just covers us in both situations. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And Luminant already did sign this agreement. I had them sign it today just so that as soon as you guys voted, we could sign it. But I think it would be good to run it by Jeff tomorrow. So if you just, again, want to make a motion to approve as presented with an additional caveat for us to check out if we wanted to amend the section that Member Bradford pointed out if needed. And, you know, that leaves us open to both if you all are comfortable with that.
Does that sound good, Sarah?
Sorry, I was trying to take myself off mute. Yeah, that's fine. And I don't even know if it's necessary to reference that specific section since Eric pointed out that there are other references throughout the document. You know, maybe we can just say for the attorney to review one final time for any conflicting language or something. I don't know. I don't know how to word it, but I agree with the Burton that the that overarching language in that earlier section is probably what's preventing or keeping the attorney from having to go through and edit each individual section. So that's fine.
Any other questions or comments regarding the amended contract?
No, I'm good.
We get a motion to approve.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the First Amendment to real estate sales contract as presented with additional review from our EDC attorney for any conflicting language to the amendment.
Motion made by Member Bradford.
I second. Nair.
Seconded by Member Nair. All those in favor, please state your name. Wise,
Bradford,
Shatter.
Torres.
do you speak up? Okay, Paul?
he's on mute.
You vote, K. Paul? At present, we're at a 5-6. So is that approved? Because I can't hear him confirm.
Burton, can you guys look and see if you're able to physically unmute him?
I guess we're at 6 out of 7. Can you hear us, K. Paul?
Well, we're at 5 without him.
Yeah, we're at 5, so
We're good, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
the motion passes for resolution 20-39. Thank you for your time this evening. That adjourns our meeting at 5:19 p.m.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Good evening. Oh, there's the
Have a
free
good
goodie
night.
bags if you haven't gotten yours yet.
Send them.
Yeah.